Okay. All right. We are live, and we were actually waiting for Antonio Cooper to show up before we started, but it doesn't look like he's going to make it. So let's go ahead and get started here. Hello, and welcome to the MMA Live Chat Show. I'm Rich Davie, and it's Thursday, July 10th, 2014. We are broadcasting live on YouTube once again. And on today's show, we'll be discussing Felice Herrig's unplanned fight on the first day of TUF 20. That happened before they even started filming the TUF 20 season. We'll also speak about Stefan Struve nearly fainting before UFC 175 and what that might mean for his career. And we'll also speak about the cancellation of UFC 176 due to Jose Aldo's injury. And then maybe Antonio will join us later on in the show, and we'll discuss a couple other topics in the Final Thoughts segment. So for now, on today's show, we have yours truly and Damon Gazelle. Thanks for taking part in another show, Damon. Go ahead and say hello to anybody that might be listening, buddy.
Thanks for having me, Rich. Thanks, everybody watching.
Okay, thanks again for being here, bud. Let's get started here. Let's talk about Felice Herrig and TUF 20. It seems that Felice Herrig had some trouble right away on this season's TUF. Apparently there was an unplanned fight on the first day that happened before they even started filming the TUF 20 season. And I read on Twitter that Felice Herrig got into a fight with another female fighter immediately. And I saw some other chatter out there about it having something to do with a girl that she fought in the past who Felice had a bit of a public social networking war going on with for years now. And somehow this unnamed fighter backhanded Felice. I don't know if it was intentional or unintentional, but the two girls got started at it, and they were going at each other. I guess it must have been pretty serious there. But I do see that there was one site out there that was saying that Felice almost got kicked off the show, but DFW was asked about that, and he said, no, Felice is not in any danger of being removed from the TUF 20 season. Have you heard anything about this, Damien?
Yeah, I've seen it on the interwebs.
Pretty
much what you were just saying, that there was a scuffle, and that she almost was kicked off the show, but Dana White says she's not going to be kicked off. So I think it's more than likely that another chick that's kind of jelly of her, because Felice Herrig does have a following already, even though she's not in the UFC, because she's kind of cute and she posts a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, I really kind of like her. I mean, early on, I wasn't really a big fan of hers, but as I, got to following her on Facebook, there, she seems like a really cool person. Always, interacting with the fans, and she goes out of her way to, she puts on the little characters that she does, and she does the costumes and things for the weigh-ins, and it's not really WWE style, but it's it's interesting the things that she does, especially when she does her Supergirl outfit.
Yeah, well, she makes her own outfits and ring attire too, I believe. So.
Yeah, so I it's funny because I see her taking a lot of shit from. I don't understand that. If you don't like, a fighter or a personality, why do you go to their page just, to harass them? And, she puts up with a lot of bullshit from, some of those haters, and I don't know why they hate her and why they're there if they hate her. Pretty boring life if you got nothing better to do than sit there and hate on somebody, during the course of the day on the interwebs,
Yeah, it's goofy as hell.
But, I guess she's learned to deal with it because, like I said, she's had that ongoing social networking war with. They didn't specifically mention who it was, but I did see a couple of names thrown around out there. She lost to Tisha Torres recently. That was in December, I believe, right?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Then apparently she's got something going on with a rival. It must be this Heather Clark. Are you familiar with Heather Clark?
No. No, I think those are like in Invicta, aren't they?
I'm not sure who Heather Clark is, but she's on TUF 20, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So kind of interesting. I mean, I don't know if that is in fact who that it is that got into the scuffle with Herrig, but that would probably be the most likely candidate, huh?
Yeah. I mean, like you said, there's probably a couple of them that don't like her because she's already got a following, and women are catty. If they see that somebody's getting more attention than them, then they're gonna actually harass the person. I mean, that's why if this is gonna make for an exciting season. I'd be surprised if there isn't actual out of the octagon fights more in this season.
Well, apparently Heather Clark and Felice Herrig, they got into some sort of post-fight scuffle at Bellator 94.
Hmm.
And I guess Herrig was taunting Clark. So yeah, I'm not really sure what the whole thing is all about, but it'd be interesting to see. I mean, I didn't really see many articles out there. I think it was MMA Fighting might have had an article on it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there was a couple of them that had something about it. With them recording it now and everything, the UFC's wanting to keep pretty much everything hush hush. I mean, they usually do whenever there's something like that. I'm sure that's going to be in the show. Just like they kept touting the Wandy versus Sonnen dealio.
Mm-hmm.
So
well,
it's one of those. It's one of those things. It's gonna give them more of a what do you call something to lead up to for a show. Even if it is the first one, it's good. A good entertainment aspect to help get people to watch it.
So have you heard who is going to be on this season? Because I saw some of the names, and it was like almost every single name was a name that most MMA fans would know, as far as the female talent goes.
No, I haven't really seen the full list. I've seen somewhere they had it, but I didn't actually click on the link to see all of them that were going to be on it. I'm kind of one of those people that on a show like that, I want to actually be surprised. See all this stuff. All the fighters on day one. I like the beginning of TUF. That's always my favorite. Is the fights to get in the house. So
well, pretty much most of the girls were already guaranteed a spot in the house, which is kind of weird this year.
I thought there was only like a couple that were that might have been last. No, I think that was TUF Brazil, where there was one guy that was guaranteed a spot. I don't know.
Yeah, but I know that Carla Esparza, she was guaranteed a spot. Rose Namajunas, Paige Van Zandt, Felice Herrig.
I thought Paige Van Zandt wasn't. I thought they weren't going to allow her on there. I thought she was too young.
Well, from what I understand, she's on.
She is hot as hell. I could have swore they said.
Kind of makes you wish you were 20 years old again, huh?
Because I could have swore they.
Aldo is also supposed to be on there. I put up that one poster on the forum there. I don't know if you saw it, where it showed all the different female fighters that were on the season. Beck Hyatt. I mean,
because they were saying, the UFC was saying at one time, and that this is from Fox, that UFC says Paige Van Zandt 20 is too young for the Ultimate Fighter 20.
How can that be? That sounds like bullshit to me. That would be a bummer, but I don't think that is the case.
I remember that because I posted something on there.
Really? Can you find anything on that so we can...
I'm looking to see if she is, because I'm looking on the site to see if they have all the names.
Well,
Let's see.
I think it's going to be a great season there, and if you can find those names, it would be great. If not, we can go ahead and move on there, but I just thought, you know, it was pretty interesting that there was all that drama straight away before the show even got started. And you wouldn't think it would be coming from Felice Herrig. She seems like a really nice, friendly kind of girl, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to see if Paige is on there, because, oh my God, is that chick hot?
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
Yeah, you don't want to see her fighting. It's like, don't mess that face up.
What is her record? She doesn't have a very extensive record, does she?
I don't think so. She's only like 20, dude.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. I mean, look at that guy, Marat, that we had on the show. The guy is like 17 years old and he's had like 50 fights already.
Yeah, those are grappling matches. That's not. Those aren't actual fights.
Well, yeah, not MMA.
They're fights, but they're not actual MMA fights. They're grappling matches. It's totally different. I mean, you got UFC fighters that compete in grappling competitions and wrestling competitions outside of UFC. So it's...
All right, well, any more on this topic? Because it sounds like we've pretty much run the course on this one.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I don't really know too much about it. I mean, the main news on it was about Herrig maybe possibly almost getting kicked off. But
and that was squashed immediately, so
yeah,
we'll see what happens from there. I'm sure that'll be featured on the first episode of the show. Do you have any idea when that show is going to be airing?
No clue, man. I really haven't kept up on that.
Yeah. Do you watch the TUF shows or no?
Not really. Some of it, I used to watch it all the time, but it just, I mean, it kind of got like monotonous.
No, really, I love it, man. I still watch.
I'm not big on the whole reality show type.
Yeah, my brother says that too, but you know, as long as you don't do too much of that ass grabbing and shit like that in the house, it's, you know, it might be more enjoyable with the women doing the ass grabbing, but
yeah,
I'm not into that when the men are doing it, you know.
I would rather see 2 fights a week, and have more people competing for it than to actually see the house shit and the training. I would rather it be more of a tough man competition type thing, you know.
Yeah, but it's nice to get to know. I mean, I know a lot of people don't care, but I think it's nice to get to know the fighters as individuals, because you really get to see.
Oh, we get enough of that once they get to the UFC.
Yeah, but you don't really get to know them as an individual, and you get to see what they're like, you know, when they're in the house, you know. I mean, a lot of guys in the house turn out to be complete assholes, and you're going, oh, geez, I can't stand this fucking guy. I can't wait to see him get his ass beat, you know.
Yeah, but there's also that aspect where, you know, where you already kind of don't like a fighter because you see how they are. I'm more concerned with how a fighter acts in the octagon and how he acts towards his fans. You know, if he seems like a douchebag, he might well be a douchebag, but he might also be, you know, they could have also spent it to make him look like a douchebag too.
Yeah, we hear that complaint a lot. But, wow, really surprising ending to the TUF 19 season there. Corey Anderson, and what was that other fellow's name? 2 guys that didn't really look all that impressive wound up demolishing their
Yeah,
opponents.
I think they held back. It was that that was pretty badass. The one guy though, he did land a fucking shot to the back of the head. I still think he
Yeah,
would
I
have.
saw a couple of those too.
I think he still would have won, but I mean,
Oh,
eh,
both of those
he,
fellas. I can't remember the other guy's name, but man, they were on a fucking mission to go out there and just destroy their competition, man. It was unbelievable.
yeah, Eddie Gordon and uh, the other guy.
And to be honest, I didn't think either one of them was going to win the championship or the finale there. I thought it was going to be their opponents. Kind of shocked.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, they they obviously uh, just were playing it safe to make it to the finale, and then once they got to the finale, they just wanted to unleash and actually, make it into the UFC and get that contract and get that Harley.
Yeah, it was what, like one fight was like 16 seconds, the other was like 17 seconds or something. I don't remember what it was,
Yeah,
but man, they
it
were
was
really,
pretty bad. I
really,
mean,
really quick.
I was expecting that Diego Lima or whatever the dude's name was should actually do better, but I was completely surprised. Eddie
Yeah,
Gordon, I believe, is the one that he fought, and that was the one with the illegal blows. I mean, the way he was pounding him, you just seen bam, bam. I know at least one of them was an illegal blow, but I don't think that would have changed the course of anything.
oh no, I don't think so either. He was just like he was possessed, man. He was just after him to destroy him and not even let him breathe. I mean, he just was throwing punches that were unbelievable, man.
Yeah, I think most people are actually happy to just see the fights finish pretty quick so they could get to the Frankie and BJ Penn fight a lot quicker.
Yeah, I didn't even get to see that fight, man. I fell asleep before that one came on. But let's go ahead and move on to the next fight here. We want to go back to UFC 175. Stefan Struve nearly fainted backstage before the event, and in the 11th hour there, the fight was canceled because I guess it was reported to doctors that Struve was suffering from heart palpitations, and they got word that he nearly fainted. And then before the fight, they came out, I believe it was actually the doctor during the event came out and announced that the fight was going to be canceled. And I know we were speaking about this on a couple of the other shows there. He had been previously diagnosed with that enlarged heart. And we mentioned on, I believe it was the last show, that medical condition just didn't go away. He was likely taking medication and, different kinds of drugs to combat that. I thought that it might have been, due to, Struve having to quit taking the medicine for, his heart ailment. And I thought maybe that's might have been what the problem was. Maybe because he had to stop taking the medicine to pass the drug test. Maybe that's what led to that. But
I
apparently,
think what it was is,
Struve came out and said the fainting scare had nothing to do um, with him just about passing out before the Mitrione fight. So I don't know, man. What did you hear?
I think as a person that suffers from anxiety, I think it was just he had an anxiety attack, a panic attack before the fight. He hadn't been in there in a while. Heart conditions are known to give you anxiety. His dad had just passed away not too terribly long ago to cancer. And I think it was just all so overwhelming. And then getting back in there and getting ready to fight. You always get amped up before a fight as it is. And I think he just had an anxiety attack, and that will make your heart beat irregularly a lot of times. And when you've got a heart condition, you know they probably had to give him something like Xanax or something like that to calm him down. Uh, I think it was an anxiety attack. You know.
Well, he had a lot to be anxious about there. Like you said, He's probably prone to being a bit hyper. Um, and also he had to worry about, the new position coming back in, going up against Mitrione with that heavy-handed puncher that he has. I know a lot of people say he doesn't hit that hard, but he hits pretty hard for a big man.
Mm-hmm.
And he was probably, also a bit worried about, am I going to bust that jaw again? That had to be playing in the back of his mind there.
Mm-hmm.
First fight after what? He was out for a year almost, I believe it was.
Yeah, it was at least a year.
You know,
Just a lot on his mind. And, when you start thinking of everything, that's usually when you get anxiety attacks or panic attacks, and that's it's when I heard about it, all the circumstances. I was like, yeah, he had a panic attack. That's what I think happened. I don't know if Struve confirmed it or anything like that, but
well, yeah, he actually made a post or a tweet on Twitter there where he kind of pretty much confirms what you're saying, or he's trying to make it look like that. He's saying what happened had nothing to do with my heart, but everything that has happened left me mentally scared, I guess he's saying, that I really underestimated. So,
yeah, I can totally see it. My buddy had well, they say they technically it was a heart attack because of the T waves, but it wasn't a heart attack in the sense to where it actually did any damage to the heart. But they've put him on anti-anxiety meds. Heart conditions can cause anxiety, and then like I said, all the other everything else going on in his life, it, that it came to a boiling point. It seems like right before the fight, and it just became too much for him and overwhelmed him. And anxiety can control your life. Luckily I've got medication, but it still kind of controls my life because you're so afraid of having that next panic attack. Just thinking about them can actually create one. There's so many triggers for them for everybody, and it's different for everybody.
well, I know when I was young, I was painfully shy and was very prone to panic attacks and speaking in public and just being the center of attraction. Um, so I kind of just went out and tackled that shit head on, man. And yeah, it freaks you out and takes you a while to get used to it, but eventually you just, by meeting it head on, I don't know, maybe it doesn't work for everybody, but it worked for me. Just
No,
going out and confronting your fears head on over and over, and eventually it just, desensitizes you to that. Well, in my case, anyway, it worked. But
yeah, it's completely different for everybody. It's like I've got uh, GAD, which is general anxiety disorder. So I just not it runs in my family too. Just naturally, it just have anxiety, and then certain things can trigger it. It's one of those things. It everybody that has anxiety has it on a different level. You know, like my one buddy, he's got anxiety, but his isn't as severe as mine. He doesn't have to take medicine every day like I have to. He just has to take his Xanax whenever he feels like one coming on. Whereas
I hear that
if I don't,
marijuana works wonders for that stuff.
yeah, I used to do that, and I thought that was one of the things that was actually causing it, and so I quit smoking, and it
And that
it
didn't
helps
work.
some. It
That
helps.
didn't work for you,
Now, marijuana actually made it worse. Um,
really?
yeah, marijuana when I was having the anxiety attacks, it would just make it worse. I mean, there's different types of marijuana, like some are a head high, some are a body high. If I would have smoked the body high type stuff, I probably would have been fine. The head high one, that
Yes,
I'm sure
sativa
we were
and
getting. Yeah,
indica. We did that on one of the other shows there a while back.
yeah. It's just I had quit in the past and started back up, and it was never the same. I've been off it so long though now that it possibly could help now, but I
Well,
was
now you don't
I
even
was a
have to
pretty heavy
smoke, because I
smoker.
know that they have all these with the medical marijuana passing in all these states. They have it so that you can ingest it and eat like a little bit of a cookie or a drink, or I've never been to one of the medical marijuana pharmacy stores, but I hear that they have pretty much every way that you can consume it, and a lot of
Yeah,
people are advocates of actually consuming rather than smoking. But then again, too, you got a lot of people that say vape, and I wouldn't know because I've never vaped anything like that, and I've never really vaped in my life. So,
yeah. And with my anxiety, I'd be too afraid to try it again because that's when I first started. The first time I got panic attacks was when I had to quit smoking weed. Uh, Back in my past, I had gotten in a little bit of trouble, DWI and some other stuff, and I had to quit to make probation. But
it sounds like true confessions.
it was it. I was at a Christmas party one time, and I was a beer drinker when I was 21. I only drank beer, and then at this Christmas party, I had hard alcohol, and I blacked out. I don't remember anything, but I know I spit on a cop and called him names, and so
That's not good. That'll get your ass in trouble.
yeah, I had to do 8 days in jail for that.
Wow.
And then they were gonna list that as put me in protective custody, but I got a DWI a couple months later, so they put that charge on me. And then after I went and seen a lawyer about all those charges, me and a buddy were coming home from a Denny's and got popped with marijuana. So I had like 3 charges all at once, so I had to quit.
That's not good. All
Yeah.
right, let's get back on top of here. Let's go back to Stefan Struve here and his injury. It looks like it's actually a leaky heart valve that is the problem with his heart.
Hmm.
So apparently that's going to keep on plaguing him, but I guess he is going to go ahead and return, because what I'm seeing here, he's thanking DFW and Lorenzo Fertitta for their ongoing support and confidence in him. And he says here that they even paid me a show and win bonus. So wow,
Yeah.
that was really
Yeah,
nice
I've
of
seen
them.
they did that for Metreon too. Um,
Yeah.
it's one of those things. I mean, I'm glad the UFC did that. He showed up, he was ready, and then that happened. I mean, it's not. It's that's one of the things with anxiety. It can come on at any time. It you can't say, hey, this is gonna happen, or this isn't gonna happen. It just they pop up out of nowhere, and a lot of times it's high stress situations where they do pop up, and that is a high stress situation. You're about ready to go out there and fight another guy,
All right.
and
So what do you
in
think happens to this
front of a crowd.
situation? What do you think happens to this situation here? I mean, apparently he is acknowledging that it's a mental issue that stresses him out. And apparently it's going to give us heart problems again if he can't take his medication, because he has to pass drug tests, pre-fight drug tests. That's going to be an issue for him, man. I don't really
I
see
don't
him.
know. There's natural remedies too. So I mean, if there's something that he can take that actually helps him, and is not and isn't banned, uh, I could see it. But being a person that has to take medication every day, uh, with my anxiety, dealing with my anxiety, if I have to be off my medicine, I would freak out just from that alone.
Yeah, well, I think, again, I think it's probably not going to be a bright future for him there, because, again, with something that serious, if you're talking about you're having a leaky heart valve issue. That's not going to heal itself, and maybe there is natural medication that will take care of that. I mean, I'm not a doctor, I'm not an
No,
herbalist.
I was talking about for his anxiety. I mean,
Yeah.
he shouldn't have it too bad. I think it was a culmination of coming back, his dad passing on, everything like that. Because somebody that has anxiety, is it's going to be hard for them to ever even step into the octagon when you've got thousands of people watching you. Um, if you can do that on a regular basis as it is, which he has done in the past, I'm sure he can probably still do it. He's just got to get into a zone. Working out for a lot of people with anxiety actually calms them down. So I mean, and keeps them away. He's just gotta get past that mental block right there of getting to the event and actually getting out in the octagon. I think once he gets past that, he'll be fine. Once he gets back into the rhythm of it, as long as he can make it to the octagon and the actual fight, and I think he'll be fine.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how things unfold for him. I wish him well, and I hope he does, in fact, recover. It'll be interesting to see what happens with him, but I just have a sneaky suspicion that that's going to be an ongoing issue, that medical ailment there, and I hope he overcomes it, but we'll see down the road.
No, the
But
medical thing. I mean, uh, the leaky heart valve, that almost probably would need surgery, I would think. Um,
yeah, again, if he's going to go into having heart surgery and everything like that, Jesus, is that really worth it to go try to have heart surgery and back into fighting? I mean, maybe there's nothing else that he can do, but I find that hard to believe. I mean, maybe he should just not fight and maybe just, train, other fighters and students and things like that, and then take
right.
his medication so he doesn't have to worry about possibly, having an exploding heart or whatever in the heat of a battle.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how it would affect him in a fight, unless yeah something really bad were to happen. I don't.
That would be just absolutely dreadful, and I don't even see how they can let somebody fight like that. That
If
how do
he's
you get
got doctor's
sanctioned for that when you're
clearance,
not? That's a
yeah,
serious
if
issue. I mean, you
it is
know,
a serious issue, but obviously the doctors feel that he's not in any danger of dying from it.
sure.
Um, they just kept him from
Well,
the
I'll tell you
fight.
what. When you're 7 feet tall and you're having fainting spells, you could be 7 feet tall, pass out, boom, hit your head on the floor, a banner, or a rail, or whatever. And that could kill you, man. So
Yeah. Well,
I mean, maybe
his height
maybe not
alone.
directly it would kill him, the issue, but I mean, if he's going to pass out and have a chance of banging his head or getting, I don't know.
His height alone, his size, is more than likely the cause of the heart issue.
Well, yeah, I'm sure that's got a lot to do with it because when you're 7 foot tall, that puts probably an extra burden on your heart, pumping all that blood through a 7 foot frame.
Yeah. Usually, people that are extremely tall have heart issues.
Okay, let's move on here. Let's go on to the cancellation of UFC 176 due to Jose Aldo's injury. And this is only the second time ever that a UFC event was canceled, or a pay-per-view event was canceled, and that's coming after the UFC 151 incident in 2012. This was the main event for the UFC 176 card and was to be a title fight with Chad Mendes. And apparently, Aldo suffered a shoulder injury that will have him unable to train for 3 or 4 weeks, so he decided just to go ahead and scrap the whole event. So what happens in a case like this? They just cancel the whole event, and that 176 number just is never used now?
I don't know if they're. I think it's just being postponed actually
No, it said
till like
canceled.
October.
So
Well,
cancel, not
they
postpone.
canceled the event.
Well,
So
it
I
said
don't
they moved
know
a
if
lot of people off the card to 177 card.
yeah. Well, some of the guys actually went to some fight night cards too, though, I thought.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
So, I mean, I don't think they. Well, I guess if it they cancel it,
Yeah, cancel means it's done,
since it was
finished.
already hyped as
Finito.
176, that maybe they should skip the number and you know. But I thought it was just gonna be postponed. I mean,
No, canceled.
well,
Canceled
they
is the
did cancel
terminology.
it, but they were saying it
No,
is gonna
cancel
happen.
is the terminology, and they're saying it's only the second time it happened in UFC history. And
Yeah,
I
but
don't believe UFC 151 went on. If we look up UFC 151, I don't believe there's any results for that event.
yeah, but it's going to be Aldo and Mendez is going to be pushed back to like October, I believe. So it's I guess 176 is canceled, but the main event is still going to happen. It's just going to happen like a month later,
I
a
wonder
month
why
or
they
two
feel the
later.
need to do that, to cancel an event rather than just postpone it and move it. What, why would you cancel an event when you
Well,
actually,
Lorenzo Fertitta said that for their pay-per-views they want to have title fights on there, so that they that's what's his reasoning as to why they canceled it, is because there wasn't that title fight on there. Um, there was nobody else that could step up. When uh, just recently when Weidman and Machida got pushed back to 175, Brown Dillashaw took over 174 as the headline, and that was a title match itself too. Um, same thing. When John Jones wouldn't fight Chael Sonnen, I forget which event it
it
was.
was 151.
151. They just canceled the whole thing and pretty much tried to blame it on John Jones, which you know uh, I can see John Jones's point. He had 8 days notice, but when you see in the fight, he demolished Chael Sonnen. But we got a season of TUF out of it. It actually wasn't too terribly bad of a season. I liked seeing Sonnen on it. I don't know. It wasn't Sonnen the coach against John Jones. I
I
could have
believe
sworn
it.
that.
Yeah, I believe it was.
I'm just getting confused because Sonnen just coached again against Silva.
Chael Sonnen was everywhere. He was like savoir faire.
Yeah. That motherfucker's like Aries everywhere. Fucking not anymore. But
And I just think it's kind of funny to cancel an event. And why couldn't you just say, okay, well, we're postponing to this date, but then I guess it was going to be pushed to. I mean, they're saying only 3 to 4 weeks here that he was going to be out, but I guess they're putting on like one pay-per-view event every month now. It seems like, and sometimes two a month. Maybe I guess it was overlapping the 177 event.
yeah, but I don't know. I think they've gotten pretty good about trying to keep it to one a month or one every so often. Uh, yeah, they're doing really bad in pay-per-view sales as it is. 175 did pretty good, I believe, but that was a big card. People were waiting to see the Machida Weidman fight. But they've been having declining sales in their pay-per-views, and it's like we've talked about so many times. It's because of the number of events that they're putting on.
I know. And then
You
you look
can't
at the
stack the cards like some pay-per-views in the past have been, where you've got all named fighters on the main card.
yeah,
People
the,
are tired of spending 55, $60 for
yeah.
two or
I mean,
three
when you
fights.
look at this 176 card, I mean, it was you know.
Exactly. I mean, that's why they had to cancel. I mean, without the title fight, you don't really have a pay-per-view.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking down the list of names here and I hate to, you know, diminish
It's not that the
the
guys
card
are
that way, but
known names. It's they're not worthy. Or they're not going to be able to sell a pay-per-view, and the UFC is a business. They have to look out for.
I mean,
Uh,
Bobby Green versus Abel Trujillo, that would have been a great fight.
yeah. There was some good fights on 176, but the thing is
Danny Castillo and Tony Ferguson, that wasn't bad.
yeah, but it's not, it's you need one main event that's
Yeah,
really going
you
to
gotta have two high quality
at
fights
least
on a
two,
pay per
yeah.
view. So if some
But the
shit goes
main event
down, you
has
can
to
just
be something that is really going to sell it,
well, they've got to do that. They got to stop, saying, "Oh, we can build a pay-per-view around one fight." You got to have at least two top quality fights on the card. You
No,
know,
that one did have two. You had Souza against Masasi, but once Aldo Mendez is out, you know,
what if I don't know, I don't recall what those two fellows are ranked, but
oh, they're both pretty highly ranked.
are the top
I
10?
believe. Oh yeah, Jacare and Moose. Oh yeah, those one of those two is I believe whoever wins between Souza and Masasi actually gets a shot at the title
No,
against
really?
Weidman. Yeah, they're both up there. I mean, Gergard he's a beast. So is Souza. I mean, I believe who was Souza's last fight? I think Souza last fought and dominated. Oh, what's his name? They just let him go. Um, Jake Shields, I believe that's who Souza just dominated pretty
Jacare,
much.
Jacare is number 4. Musasi is number 7. So that's interesting.
No,
Number
I'm thinking of somebody else that did
number
that.
7 and number
Who's
4.
the other guy that
Number
I don't know
7 and number
why?
4 are going to battle, and they're going to get a shot at Weidman, but I don't think that's going to happen because I thought I just read today that Weidman is out with some sort of injury until 2015.
Really? Good lord!
Huh?
I said really. Good lord! I
I
just
thought that's what I read today.
I don't know. But yeah, I mean Souza, Jacare
And
is
Anderson
coming off of
Silva's
wins
still ranked number
against
1.
Carmont, Okami, Kamosi, Herman. Well, Herman was actually in Strike Force, but Souza is a beast. And Gearguard he had that loss to Belfort. I think he was one. No, it was against Machida. Who's it I'm thinking of that was?
I have no idea. I can't actually remember the fights because there's so damn many of them, and we talk about so many fights. I
Yeah.
actually go out and whatever we're going to talk about on the show, I go out and try to look up, what it is to refresh my mind because there's just so much going on. It's like, holy shit, how can you possibly remember everything from week to week?
Yeah. It's so hard to keep track of it anymore because of uh,
And that's just the
all the
UFC.
events. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't really even keep track of the WSOF
Yeah.
or Bellator, other than trying to read articles on it. And when you read the articles and not watch the fights, it's even harder to keep it because you read so many articles on things.
Well, I try to keep up with both WSOF and Bellator, not as much as I used to in the past with Bellator, but I still try to keep up on those two organizations. And then, if Invicta's around and I can watch those, I'll watch that. And then every once in a while, I'll, check out a couple of other, combat sports events. But, geez, man, there's just so much. And it's like, holy Christ. I mean, you can make a living. You can make that your living just sitting there watching combat sports every single day. I mean, holy jeez, wouldn't that be the life, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Right.
it's
So again, what I was saying to you earlier was there the number 7 versus the number 4 fighter, and it's kind of odd that there's talk that they will get a shot at the title there when you got
Rockhold. Rockhold's the one that lost to Belfort and wants to
yeah
fight him
Rockhold's
again.
Rockhold's number 5 ranked in the UFC. They got Anderson Silva number 1, Belfort number 2, Lyoto Machida tied with Belfort at number 2. Jacare Souza 4, Luke Rockhold 5, Tim Kennedy 6, Gegard Mousasi 7, Michael Bisping number 8, C.B. Dalloway number 9, number 10 Costa Philippou, 11 Yoel Romero, 12 Francis Carmon, 13 Mark Munoz, 14 Tim Bosch, and 15 Talis Bates. So
Yeah, if Weidman can beat Souza, Rockhold, Belfort, and Mousasi, I mean, those are all guys that are beasts. Well, Belfort, hopefully, without TRT. Dude, he's really going to cement a name if he can beat those guys.
what
Because
happened to Mikey? He lost 2 fights in a row and he went way down the ladder, huh?
Bisping,
Yeah.
yeah, but he also lost what? He lost to Belfort. He lost to Sonnen a while back. He hasn't really had too good
Was
of a
that 2 in a
record.
row that he lost? Because he was close to number 5 spot, wasn't he, at one point?
He was.
Number 4?
I mean, he was supposed to fight for the title if he had beat Sonnen, which I still believe he actually beat Sonnen in that fight. But yeah, I think the powers that be might have had a little bit of something to do with that. That's why I'm saying I kind of wonder sometimes but it was a close fight. But everybody wanted to see Sonnen versus Silva too. Anyways, yeah, Belfort lost to Kennedy last. Kennedy with all his trash talk, and then he comes out and wrestle fucks him for 3 or 5 rounds. Yeah, it was 5 rounds. I hate that when they do that. They trash talk each other and shit like that, and then they come out and they do something like that. It's like, dude, don't get me all hyped for a fight unless you're gonna come out and fight. If you're gonna come out and hump a guy for fucking 5 rounds, fuck. At least fucking let me know.
All right, so anyway, because the Jose Aldo versus Chad Mendez fight has been canceled, they canceled the whole card.
Well, the fight's on hold, but the card is canceled.
Yeah, but it looks like that UFC 176 card is going to go into the dustbin there, and it'll be just a blank spot in UFC history there with no results. All right, let's go ahead and wrap up things here. Any final thoughts before we move on and close the show?
Stop putting on so many events. That way you've got backup plans. It seems like they're running out of backup plans. Yeah.
Well,
only the second time they've had to cancel an event, and the whole reason they had to cancel is because they didn't have anybody to headline that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, they've got to do something. And, again, I don't think number 7 and number 4 would be enough to say, wow, that's a top fight that we're going to watch or pay pay-per-view money for $60, So that's why I was saying I really didn't consider that, 2 top fights, main event and co-main event. Got to have something a little stronger than that if you're asking for $60 from fans.
Yeah, and their ratings have been slipping, which luckily this last weekend's match is actually, especially having Faber versus Caceres, actually pulled in a million viewers for the prelims. But yeah, I think Fox, somewhere trying to say it's Fox's fault. I think it's a little of both.
Yeah.
Too many cards.
too much inconsistency, but I have noticed that Fox Sports 1 is actually being a little more respectful now of the UFC programming.
Yeah, because you got people that work and stuff on Saturdays, and they come home and they flip, their DVR to watch it, and they didn't set it to record like 2 hours past, to actually catch it, and so they end up missing it, and then they're like, fuck it, if it's on Fox Sports 1, I'm not even going to TiVo it or DVR it.
Yeah, I know, it's so crazy, but it does look like things are turning around and they're getting a little more respect now over in Fox Sports 1. I mean, for a while there, they were just kind of like shoving them off like, a heavy stepchild in the corner when there was any other sports, program on. That's kind of lame for MMA fans, but it is what it is. And one more thing I do want to talk about: Dominic Cruz returns for UFC 178, and he faces Takeya Mizugaki.
It's a hard fight to come back and start off with. Mizugaki's been on a roll.
Yeah, it certainly is, because I saw on Twitter that Dominic Cruz was all excited, and he tweeted out something, I've got some great, exciting news coming up, and I saw this news shortly thereafter.
Yeah, EA Sports UFC, he's one of the guys they've been making for their roster update, and they're going to do later this month. TJ Dillashaw, Tyron Woodley, and Mizugaki are the 3 fighters they're going to add to the game. I can't wait for that shit.
That's awesome. Well, I wonder if anything is going to really happen to Dominic Cruz there, because he's been struggling with that injury with his knee for almost 2 years now, hasn't he?
Yeah, but I mean, if he's been training, and he could have. I'm not sure. I think he did hurt it in training, didn't he? Again.
Yes, twice, didn't he?
Yeah, but if he's ready to go, his style, I don't think ring rust is going to play too much into it, because the way he moves around as it is I don't think he's more of a fighter that moves around.
That was an ACL injury, wasn't it?
I think it was. That's why he was out so long. I mean, fuck, he's been out over 2 years. I was figuring they weren't going to make him have to defend his title for the first match coming back, which technically it is his title. Once he comes back, he should be given it after the Mizugaki fight, win or lose, and then have to fight the interim. Well, I don't think they call it interim anymore because of how long he was gone, but technically he never lost it, so he definitely, when they go into it, it should be a title unification match to see who actually gets it, because Dominic really, dude earned that title. He lost it because of injury, and even if he were to lose to Mizugaki, I don't think, there might be some ring rust. There's got to be something that comes into play after being out for so long. But, if he loses to Mizugaki's been looking phenomenal,
Where is he ranked?
I'm not sure. You always ask this stuff when I don't have that shit pulled up.
I will pull it up, man, but I'm working on this dreadfully slow computer that takes 5 minutes to pull up a page.
With the damn rankings on the UFC, they're always so horrible. Let's see. Number 5.
He's ranked 5?
He's ranked number 5.
And Cruz is still ranked?
He's on 5-fight winning streak.
And Cruz is still ranked in the UFC?
Look. All the way down to 12.
Huh.
Which is kind of gay. I mean, take him off. Take him off. I mean, don't keep dropping him. God damn. I mean, the dude hasn't had a chance to defend his title. Well, I mean, keep defending it. He's had it. I mean, when you got him down lower than Uri Alcantara and Eddie Wineland and shit like that, when they've got losses, I mean,
Oh,
at
the
least
page finally came up for me. Alex Caceres moved up one spot.
yeah, to 10, which I don't even think he was in. I didn't even think he was in the top 15 before
Yeah, he
it
was
was
rated number.
announced.
He was ranked.
Yeah, when it was announced that he was going to be fighting favorites, like he jumped up into the top 15.
Oh, really? He wasn't ranked before that?
I don't know. He was ranked, but I don't think he was ranked in the top 15. I mean, if you look at who he's fought, he doesn't deserve to be in the top 15. I mean,
Yeah, we have a hard time
Sergio
agreeing with the
Pettis,
UFC rankings. They
Roland
made them.
Delorme. I mean,
Yeah.
he's not fighting guys that are ranked. So how do you jump up in rankings when you fight guys that aren't even ranked? I think you should at least have to beat people that are ranked to jump over guys that are ranked.
Yeah, I know.
How do you go over Easton? Well, Easton was on a losing streak, but
Oh, look, Rousey went up number 1, up to number 9 on the pound for pound list.
yeah,
Took Johnny Hendrick's spot.
I still think that's crazy. She should be a lot higher. I mean, it should go by your division, and there's nobody in that division right now, other than maybe Kat Zingano, once they do fight.
Yeah, I'm dying to see that fight. I can't wait for that one to take place.
There's
Right,
nobody.
so, any other comments here before we close the show out, buddy?
No. Other than we're supposed to be doing a show tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
What were those topics that we were going to be discussing? BJ Penn retiring, and what was another one?
I have to go to my page and take 5 minutes to pull up the page here.
I'm pulling it up now. Let's see.
I know we're going to have Jeremiah on the show tomorrow.
Yeah.
Antonio was supposed to join us today. I don't know what happened. I guess he had to work late or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're going to be talking about Ronda breaking her hand in that last fight. BJ Penn and Overeem versus Rothwell announced for Fight Night Connecticut.
Oh, yes, I just got the page to pull up. Friday between 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. BJ Penn retires after TUF 19 finale. Ronda Rousey out.
Eastern time. 4:30, 5:30 p.m. Eastern time.
Yes, Eastern time. Ronda Rousey out after UFC 175 to nurse broken hand and have an MRI on her knee. And apparently that's supposed to keep her out for at least 2 months or so. And then Overeem versus Rothwell announced for Fight Night Connecticut. I believe that's Fight Night 50, right?
I have no clue on the numbers, man. There's so many of them.
Me neither, because they vary from place to place. All right, buddy, I guess that's it. Let's go ahead and say goodbye. Thanks again for showing up, my friend.
All right, man.
We'll see you next time. That'll be tomorrow.
All right. It's always fun, Rich. You have a good one.
Buddy. You too. Have a great one.
Take it easy.
You too.